And we are live, people. Welcome to Pros Only TV. Basketball season is nearly here. We're doing the NBA season preview right now. Got my guest Mido in the building. Let's go.
Tropicana.
Yes, people, we're back in the building. Oi! Back-to-back streams. It's been a bit of a long day, but we're here, we move, and we've got NBA to talk basketball content first time on the channel. The season preview right now. Got Mido in the building. What you saying, my guy?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Thank you for having me on. We need a break from United,
Come on.
obviously. And now it's good to, switch gears and switch sports for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, before we start anything, I'm gonna need everybody to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that notification bell. And yeah, man, let's get straight into it, man. Let's do a little recap over last season. So obviously we all know who won the championship. You know, it was the Bucks. You know, Giannis coming through in the final, MVP and all of that. But you know, they won the Eastern Conference Finals. And to be honest, like it was an interesting little mini tournament just before the finals, isn't it? Like you see with the Sixers and the Hawks. Like those are some crazy games, bro. Like, what was you saying on them, man? How did you like them?
I mean, honestly, I was very surprised. Me and my friends were very surprised when we saw it. Obviously, we expected Philly to go through just like everyone else, but they had their issues, as I must say. And the Bucks capitalized. I'm sorry, not the Bucks. The Hawks capitalized on that, and credit to them. They made a good run last year.
Yeah, Trae Young was moving silly in some of those games, bro. Like, I mean, even the games against the Bucks.
Yeah, they couldn't. Yeah, there's some games. Yeah, they couldn't even. They didn't know what to do with him. But the Bucks had more talent. They were the better team, so they were gonna win that series all day.
Yeah, and then on the West Coast, the Suns came through that group, right? And it's like early on in the season, in the regular season, the Jazz were moving mad. West Coast, they were moving mad. They was literally clear of everybody, and then like I think towards the end of the playoffs, right? They just went there. I think like they were just out of energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the Hawks, sorry, the Jazz, they were like you said, like they were balling hard every game during the regular season last year. And then I think when they came to the playoffs, I think they just ran out of their depth. Like they did not have enough superstar quality. And one thing the playoff does, it really exposes other players' weaknesses. We saw what they did in that game 6 to Rudy Gobert. They were all taking turns on him. Pause. So it's like they tried to put him in the pick and roll. They destroyed him. And I even saw, I think, a stat or something where the last 6 points or last 6 baskets were on him. So it was, it was crazy. But honestly, I felt like the Jazz, they were a good team. I think they just needed one other scorer to really, really challenge in the West. But I don't know about this upcoming season, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
This season's a bit mad because obviously the last couple of seasons have been a bit crazy, obviously with COVID and that. Yeah, so we had the bubble the season before last, and then this season, obviously with even still, there's all these little restrictions, so players couldn't play because of protocol and stuff like that. And then obviously the fixture schedule was the top stars getting injured, and obviously the fixtures were a bit squashed together, so we had a bit of a shorter season. Then we had the play-in tournament, and then the playoffs. So like you couldn't. What would you expect? Like players were gonna get injured, obviously, because the schedule was just too tight. And then like the Bucks came through. They capitalized. They were the healthiest team, I guess, out of everybody. So they was able to capitalize on everybody. But let me get into some more comments before we move on. Big up Santi in the chat, bro. I thought you was gonna jump on, Santi. The links in the group chat. Come through if you can, innit? Popcorn gang. I was hoping CP3 would get a ring. Giannis still got time to dominate for a long time. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I do want Chris Paul to win a ring though, man. Like he's a baller, man, for real. But still,
yeah. I think the great thing about this finals was that we would be happy for either CP or Giannis. Because those are two players that they mean a lot to the game. Obviously, CP doing it for a while, and everyone just loves Giannis because just how humble he is, how very down to earth he is, and also how hard he plays. So it was a win-win for whoever won in last finals. But I'm actually happy Giannis won it, though, because I love Giannis. I love everything about him.
Yeah, man, he's a baller too, man. He can turn it on when it's real, when it's like the chips are down, bro. He will turn it on. That finals performance was mad. It was crazy. But yeah, so obviously the Bucks came through as the champions. And obviously we've spoken about Giannis and like what he brought to the finals and all of that. But then let's talk about some of the other like supporting cast. So obviously Chris Middleton in the finals was moving mad, bro. He was a shooter. Yeah. And then you had J. Rue as well. He was doing some madness in the finals too. Like, and I'm just like, bro, that supporting cast here that they've got at the Bucks here, everybody's pretty much humble. There's players that are like of similar levels, but they really support the team and help Giannis like perform to his highest ability. Like, what do you think about those guys, man, within that Bucks team?
Yeah, shout out PJ Tucker too. I think them adding him gave them that edge to win, because I think what he brings to the game, like he will have nights where he played all game, had 0 points, but he guarded the other team's best player. We saw that's what he did with Brooklyn. He was on KD most of the time. But no, the Bucks supporting cast, they were unbelievable. Drew Holiday, played his role. Chris Middleton, even though he was very up and down in the playoffs, he made the big shots when it mattered. So, and you can name their other bench players. I mean, Brook Lopez was a very good player for them. You had other bench players, like Brent Forbes, shooter.
Yeah.
He's
a shooter. He kept coming off the bench, and shooting threes like it was nothing. I'm telling you, bro.
Like it was nothing. Yeah, no, I was very impressed with him. And yeah, they just had a squad, and like everybody knew what to do in that team, and they were the healthiest team as you said. So everything went their way. They deserved it. We're not gonna say like they didn't deserve to win and all that, because they did what they had to do. So big ups to them.
Yeah, man. I think there was also a good sight to see was obviously the fans back in the arenas and stuff again, like because obviously the bubble was a bit of a different experience. Like watching it, like I was watching it on TV and I felt weird, bro. I was like, where's the noise? Like it was weird seeing all them faces on the screens and that, but it kind of gave us a little bit different type of basketball. But fans back in the arenas is always a good thing, and I feel like that helped the season kind of go along. Obviously, it's a bit of a different time.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm honestly I was surprised of how they were able to do the bubble. Like I was surprised of how much I liked it. I didn't think I would like it before, but once I started watching it last year, I loved it. Maybe that's because we were all dying for sports to come on. And we all wanted the NBA season to continue. But no, it's always better with fans. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Let's run through some of the awards, end of season awards. So the MVP of the regular season was Nikola Jokic. There was a lot of backlash like surrounding his name being called for MVP, but when you look at the statistics and how he was playing in all the games for the Nuggets, sorry, not for Denver, the Nuggets, he was he was doing the work, bro. Like, you can't dispute the facts, bro. He was doing the work, like, and just because he's not the most, like, he's not the sexiest name out there and all of that, don't mean that he don't deserve it. So what do you think about his season, bro?
Now he was unbelievable, and I think just the way how he, he stayed healthy, he stayed fit, didn't miss any games, even when Jamal Murray went down. The team really kicked on, without him. So I mean, obviously they're a better team with Murray there, but like he was able to like still do what he does. I think the last year the MVP was the race for the MVP was very, very interesting because every time there would be the favorite to come on to win it, he would get injured. We had that with Braun. We had that with Embiid. Embiid was a favorite to win it, and then he got injured. Then everyone was talking about James Harden winning it, and even though James Harden was probably not going to win it because of the trade and how he left Houston, he was up there in the conversation to win it as well. He got injured, so I think the last people it came down to was like Jokic and also like how Curry played towards the end of the season. So obviously you can say, well, Golden State didn't make the playoffs. Fair point. But no, Jokic, he deserved it, I think. He's just, his skill is crazy. When you see some of the stuff he does, like as a center, being 7 feet, being able to pass the way he does, shoot the way he does, he can't even jump over like one flight of stairs, and he can still do all of that, or one step. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. So I like that pick. He's a great player for sure.
Yeah, man. Obviously Steph Curry, scoring champion, at the end of the regular season. Obviously the Warriors didn't make the playoffs. They was in the play-in tournament with the Lakers, and I think the Lakers knocked them out. It was a last-minute shot by LeBron.
With one eye.
One eye, he got the finger in the eye, Then he was like, couldn't see, but he shot. I was like, that was
saw
crazy.
3 rims.
Yeah,
Shout out
3 rims.
I love LeBron so much. He's one of my favorite athletes ever. But nah, he was taking a piss on that. he could see. He could see properly.
That was different. But Steph Curry got scoring champion. At first, I thought it was going to be Bradley Beal, because he was moving mad in the early part of the season. But I feel like it just tailed off for the Wizards. And Steph kind of took the title.
Shout out the Wizards. They're our team here. So
shout
out the Wizards. It was getting pretty hot, the scoring title. Obviously Bradley Beal, he went on to another level this year. Showing how he could score. You can tell just the game slowed down for him. Like it just looks a lot easier for him now. So but Steph Curry, honestly, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, greatest shooter to ever play the game. And whenever he wants to turn it on, he can as well.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? The thing about it is that the Warriors, that franchise, obviously they've missed Klay Thompson, like especially through his injury, bro. Like I feel like they've been trying to fill the void, obviously with his setback, but like obviously I feel like he's back. Is he back in like full contact training? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think because the Lakers played them on opening night, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they want him back for that game, but they said if he can't be back for that game, they want him back for Christmas game.
Yeah, for the Christmas game.
And you can tell me who they're playing because I think I forgot who their Christmas game matchup is. But I think they have a good Christmas game matchup, and I think they said if they can't make it for opening night, that's when they want him back.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for him, they're gonna have to just manage the amount of game time he plays, if he does at all this upcoming season, just because of the injury. It's been so long in it, so he has to be pretty careful. Let me get into some more comments before we continue. Big up Brush in the building, Popcorn Gang as always. Big up Drizzy Des, screw the Nets, Lakers in 5. Big up Brush, Westbrook at the Lakers, Nets looking stacked, of course. Yep. And Santi says he'll try and jump on in a bit. He's still at work. All right, cool. Moving on, defensive player of the year, Rudy Goldberg. He picked it up again. Some people will say man was the super spreader of COVID when it all went down, But hey, he's defending them buckets. I was watching him closely in the Olympics for France, He was doing the business there, and they got to the final, the medal match, the gold medal match, but they couldn't beat the US and all of that. Last season, for the Jazz, especially in the early part of the regular season, he was moving mad. And obviously with his build and just the wingspan and everything like that, he's just able to just reach in places that most men will never be able to reach. What do you think about him and his season that he had in across the season?
I mean, well, he's obviously a good player. He's a supermax player for a reason. Defensive player of the year. This is third time winning it. I think just like you said, like his ability to get to some spots that you don't expect other guys to. But, you know, if you're asking me personally, there are other players I would take over him.
Yeah.
But you got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, he did his business, you know, and that big contract he got, you know, he deserves it. You know, I know there were some people, you know, talking about that, criticizing him, but, you know, you can't argue with that. You know, you get what you negotiate. And especially, like, he put himself in a position to be a supermax player, winning defensive player of the year. So, you know, it's we're going to see what happens. But, you know, like we said earlier, I don't know if the Jazz can challenge anymore. You know, that window might have been, last season might have been their big window with all those injuries.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because the thing about it is I was very surprised, like, during that regular season, as I said, they really were clear of everybody on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And it just kind of fell off. And it's just like, you know, I kind of like, I'm looking at Bada Mitchell and I'm just like, because he was doing work, bro. Like, and it's just
Jordan Clarkson too. I know
Jordan
Man of the
Clarkson's
year.
Sixth man of the year. Yeah. We can move on to him. Now. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about his season, bro? Because like he's improved a lot. Like,
I
over
love
the last
his
couple
game.
of seasons.
Yeah, his bag he got so much in his bag. Very skillful player. You know, just he filled in that role, just being able to come off the bench, get them points. That's why I said like the Jazz were literally, I think they were just like a one score away, like a Bradley Beal type or like a Zach LaVine type guy away from really making some noise. How much are they gonna get that now? They can still get that through trades and stuff, but I don't know. I don't see any free agent or top free agents signing in Utah.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
the
just
thing.
because the city and everything, you know, if they're gonna want to challenge, they're gonna have to do like what Milwaukee did with Drew Holiday or PJ Tucker, just get it through trades, and then hope they can stay there after.
That's the thing. You're so right there. It's like who's really like looking to go to the Jazz? Like who's trying to go to Utah like that? It's a hard sell, bro. Like to try and get someone like who's top. You could offer the money, but like some people they're just not gonna do it just because of that. Like, so yeah, you're right there.
The same money. They can get the same money, or probably even more money outside just by being in a bigger market.
Yeah, simple. Like, and that's very true. Let's talk about the rookie of the year, LaMelo Ball. Right now, you see the way that they came up together, like him and Zoe, and then obviously we know about LeVar Ball, how outlandish he is, outspoken he is. People don't give him enough credit. I'm gonna do it right now. Like as a father, to be able to get two players to go pro in the NBA.
Top three. They were top three draft picks.
Top three draft picks. Talking
and
all
they're
the
gonna
smack.
They're gonna get the third son too. Just watch.
Yeah. What's his name?
Jello.
Yeah, Jello. Yeah. Like thing about it is, he's knocking on the door. I saw him training with the Hornets. I think it was. Yeah, and then last season he had a I don't know if it was a 10-day contract with the Pistons or something like that. It was something like that.
It was
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about LaMelo, man. Like that kid is special, bro. Like, he's special.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like obviously when you watch sports for a very long time, like we both have, there's just certain guys that you just know, like he
Mm,
got it. And
yeah.
LaMelo Ball, like he's got everything. Like he's got his game is on point. He's got the
Mm,
swagger of like a
yeah.
superstar, the
Yeah.
just the way he is and everything. And it's just you love to see it honestly because like how LeVar Ball, the media try to make him out to be, how
Mm,
they talk about how he's going to be the downfall of his kids when really he's the reason his kids are who they are today.
mm,
So I love it. I'm here for more LeVar Ball. Um what's the word, what can I say, I'm here for whatever he has to do. I support what he does.
mm,
Like you said, like if what to do what he does as a father, to like push his boys, uplift them. And obviously they're all going to be in the NBA now. Two of them are what, Lonzo's a great player. LaMelo's a
mm.
superstar in the making, and Jello's going to find his way in the league too. So you can't do nothing but give him his credit for that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, Let me get some more comments before we move on. Big up Brad in the building. Shout out all the netballers in my house. My offensive lineman was Michael Jackson. Okay. Go hoops. Last time I heard about Six Man, it was your mama talking about her weekend plans. What? Boy, calm down, my guy. Calm down, bro. And big up Santi in the chat as a Baylor alum. I'm happy with Utah signing Jared Butler. I hear ya. Um, let's talk about the most improved player as we wrap up the recap for last season. Julius Randle, um,
Yeah.
definitely improved as a player. Um, Doing some good stuff with the Knicks, and they made a little run into the playoffs, man. And obviously it didn't work out for them. The dream was there. You saw Spike Lee on courtside
Yeah.
moving a bit mad, but it didn't work out for them. But all in all, Julius Randle, he
Shout
did
out Trey
score.
Young.
Yeah.
Trey Young. He did what he did. And honestly, it's just New York fans, New York sports fans. That's just how they are. They hype up. They just hype up a bunch of nothing. And but shout out to the Knicks though. They had a good team. A lot of good young players.
Mm,
Julius Randle. Yeah, you're right. He did improve a lot.
mm,
His game just went on. He went to another level. It wasn't. And it's like the crazy thing is like you saw flashes of what he could do when he was in the Lakers,
yeah.
and then you just saw what he was, and then like obviously it wasn't able to work out. They got LeBron. That shifted a lot
Mm,
of things, and then he goes out of there, finds his way, and then ends up on the Knicks. And even though like he signed as a free agent that year, everyone
mm,
wanted Zion or KD or Kyrie, and everyone was just like, how did we land Julius Randle? But
mm.
hey, he balled out for them. You know,
That's the thing. Look,
Gotta give him his credit.
yeah, I mean, he's been in the lab though. Like he's been really working, trying to improve his game. Like you see it even in this offseason. Like I'm seeing him in the lab. He's just there working. Like he's just trying to keep improving and keep improving. And I feel like, with the additions that the Knicks have made, now they've got themselves Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier. So now, yeah, the team is looking a little bit more shaped to really start shooting. Like, and obviously D Rose is there with his experience. You know,
Yeah.
eh, they could be looking a bit different this time around. Like, you never know.
I
Cool.
mean, yeah, we're gonna have to see how that experiment goes. Honestly, obviously them signing Kemba and Evan Fournier is it's a step in a direction. We don't know if it's in the
Mm,
right direction or wrong direction yet.
mm,
Because Kemba, for some reason, it didn't work out for him in the Celtics,
mm,
and Evan Fournier, we've not really seen him like in a big market. Like, yeah, he was in Orlando for a while, so we're just
mm,
gonna have to see how that relationship goes, works out though. But they did add like two guys who were like very unselfish players. Very like they don't
mm.
have big egos, so and they're coming to a team already that was in the playoffs with some good young players. So it'll be a good experiment to see. So we're gonna have to stay tuned on the next.
Cool. Let's move to this current season now. who are the favorites? We've got some teams, man. Do you reckon can challenge? Can they? And
Your stream is cutting, bro.
can you hear me, bro?
Okay, I can hear you now, but your stream is just cutting up a bit.
Cut. Let me just do something real quick.
Okay, you're good now.
Let me do something.
Okay, I think you're good now.
You can hear me, yeah?
Okay, yeah, you're good now. Yeah.
We're good, yeah? All right, cool. Okay. Right. Yeah, so the Bucks. Do you think that they can defend the championship this season? Like, what do you think, bro?
If everyone's healthy, no.
Yeah.
No. And taking nothing away from them, but honestly, if like I was telling everybody, if Kevin Durant cut his toenails before that game, Brooklyn Nets are the champions. You know, because like he was literally half a size off from taking them to the finals. So if you know, they had a hobbled James Harden too, like a James Harden who was injured. Kyrie Irving was injured. So like I said, you know, earlier in the stream, like they deserved to win. They did what they had to do. But if Brooklyn was healthy, they were gonna beat them, and there was no question about that. So I'm expecting them to be healthy this year because I'm speaking only health. With all players healthy, and I don't expect them to be back-to-back champions.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that as well, man. I feel like last season it was a very weird season. We're just coming off that hangover from the bubble, and as I said, a shortened schedule, this new play-in tournament, you know, players getting injured because the schedule's too tight, and then obviously all the protocols are surrounding COVID and all of that. So it just meant that there was a lot of teams without their star players at certain points during the season, and the Bucks seemed to have just stayed clear of all of that, and they were able to capitalize. And the thing about it is, it could have went either way. It could have been a Brooklyn year. It could have been the Suns. You know, like it's just one of those types of things. But do I think that they could? Do I think they can win the championship? I don't think they can defend it. I think they won this. That was their first title since when? Like the 70s, I think 1970 something. Like
since Kareem or something.
Something crazy like that. So I mean, yeah, they can celebrate this, but I think that's it for them. Let me get into some more comments before we move on. Big up Brad. He said, "What about those Harlem Globetrotters? Why are you trolling, my guy? I think they'll win the Stanley Cup this year for sure. Stop trolling me, my guy." Yeah, man, you need to chill with them things there. D Rose pause. Hey, chill, bro. Like, man said I got the Taliban Wi-Fi. Big up Drizzy in the chat. Yeah, chill out, bro. Roland's Wi-Fi slower than Ollie subs. Hey, this has been a day, bro. Like, bro, the Wi-Fi thing's been hard, bro. I'm at my wifey's place right now, bro, because my place ain't got no Wi-Fi at the moment. So you ain't gonna see me there until Monday at least. Still, so James Harden pause. Yeah, chill, bro. James Harden always flops in the playoffs, though. I mean, with this team, I don't think he will. If everybody's healthy, I don't think he will. You know, I think like they look like.
If they're healthy, he's not going to be asked to do too much. I think in Houston, what he was asked to do too much, and rightfully so. You know, he was a superstar. You know, he was having MVP years in the regular season, so obviously they want that to transition to the playoffs. But playoffs basketball is a lot different from regular season. So, but he has a better team now, though, for sure. Much better team.
Yeah, he's Santi's from Houston, so he knows it.
Yeah, shout out Houston. You know, I lived there for a year.
Yeah,
you know, cool city.
And then Drizzy in the chat says Harden will flop. Allow it. Cool. Let's move on to the Nets. Actually, so you know, we've spoken about that team, bro. Like that team is stacked. They got that big three: Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. They got a nice little supporting cast. They lost DeAndre Jordan to the Lakers. Lamarcus Aldridge is back. after his health issues as well. So he might come in there and help them for a few games across the season. But what do you think about their chances this season, man? As we've said and as you've mentioned, if they stay healthy, they can win it potentially. But what do you think?
Yeah, they can win it all. And
Mm,
it hurts me saying this because I am a LeBron fan,
mm,
you know. So I obviously want him to get as much as rings as he possibly can before he retires.
mm.
And also he has a chance to win it this year.
Yeah,
So, but the Nets they have too much offense.
yeah,
And it's like people are worried about their defense. Defense is the most overrated thing in basketball. You have teams scoring 120, 130 points. Like, where was the defense in this? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And the crazy thing about Brooklyn is you can score 120 points on them
mm,
and they'll laugh at you.
yeah,
You know, I heard somebody said that recently. And even if you look at their first round series against the Nets, Kyrie, Katie, and James Harden, the three of them alone scored 107 points or something.
yeah. Something crazy like that.
Three of them, three players scoring over 100. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think like it's good. Like if I have to pick, it's gonna be between them and the Lakers. I
yeah,
think with the players that the Lakers added, they probably have more depth than the Nets.
yeah,
But when it's the fourth quarter, when it's crunch time, it's only five guys allowed.
yeah,
So we already know who the three are gonna be for Brooklyn. We know who the three are gonna be for the Lakers.
mm,
But I think what the Lakers' advantage can be, I'm not saying this is gonna be the reason why they win, but what their advantage can be is you don't know which two players that they're gonna have close it out
yeah.
with
With
the
their
big
three.
three.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so it could go their way. If it can go their way. It can go against them. I think we're gonna see throughout the season, you know, what their how their rotation is gonna be.
mm,
And same with Nets, honestly. You know, we don't know who it's going to be, but the fact that the Lakers have more depth can
mm,
favor them in that direction. But Nets are looking overpowered right now, so
mm.
it's tough. It's tough. I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
I mean, all right. So we've spoken a little bit on the Lakers, so let's move on to them. So obviously, we've seen the incomings they've had, you know,
Yeah.
over the off season, you know, the trades and the free agencies. Um, with them now adding Russell Westbrook,
Mm-hmm.
adding in Melo, DeAndre Jordan, as I mentioned, Rondo, Trevor Ariza, and Dwight Howard. Like, this is LeBron James saying, "Look, I'm bringing all the OGs with me. We're gonna go and win this championship, ride or die mission." All right. Are they gonna do it this year? Can LeBron get that fifth ring?
He can for sure.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think if obviously we're speaking about health, with health going everyone's way, everyone being healthy,
Mm,
it's only two teams I can see winning this championship,
mm,
and that's Lakers or Nets. You know, Clippers, obviously, Kawhi being out, we don't know how long he's going to be out for,
mm.
but I don't see anybody in the West beating the Lakers in a 7-game series
Mm.
and Laker retirement home settings. Yeah, you can say that, bro, but you know, nobody's ever won really with a young team.
Yeah.
So, and they have guys that have been there, a lot of championship experience, like you mentioned, Rondo, Trevor Ariza,
Mm,
Dwight Howard when he was here,
mm,
LeBron, obviously being a champion,
mm.
AD being a champion.
Champion.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of the Lakers' success is going to depend on AD.
Yeah.
I think AD has to have like an MVP type year for them to
Yeah.
win a championship,
Yeah.
especially if they're going to want to beat the Nets in 7 games.
Yeah.
Because if he's got it going, nobody can stop him in this league.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, you know, I saw glimpses of it in the bubble where when they went to the
He was
championship,
crazy. Yeah,
he
he
was
was
moving.
crazy in the bubble.
He was mad, bro. Like, we're talking about when, like, in the paint, like, really and truly, no one really could touch him in there. And like, you know, he was even coming up with clutch moments, bro, to win them games, like
Yeah,
win them
like
series.
that
Like,
Nuggets game, the game two
yeah,
against the Nuggets. Yeah,
yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and last season, obviously, he looked a shadow of himself. Injuries was just playing a big part in the reason why his season wasn't so great. and people were taking the piss out of him on the social media and all of this, but
they were calling him street clothes. Yeah.
I mean, because obviously, the way they went out to the Suns, and we're gonna speak about them next. I mean, like, it was a bad series for them. First time LeBron was out in the first round in his whole career. So I mean, it's a bit mad. It's a bit mad. But I feel like, yeah, if AD's healthy, you're right. He really needs to have an MVP type year for them to really get the championship, because he's gonna be the guy that they're now looking to kind of glue everything together and keep them in games and win them games if they can. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think what AD definitely needs is he needs somebody there with him to push him. Like LeBron, we've seen him do that in the bubble, or like in AD's first season. He made it known that, okay, AD is going to be our number one scorer, and AD was the number one option. I think one of the reasons why they added Russ to the team was for that, because everyone knows, like, everyone can say Russ is a stat pattern this, stat pattern that. No one's ever won with him, but every guy Russ has played with, they've had a career year.
Yeah.
Paul George was in the MVP discussion. He was a top 3 MVP player when he played with Russ. Bradley Beal was scoring champion when he played with Russ. So Russ is, he will push AD to do what he does, and I think that's one of the reasons why they chose to trade for Russ instead of Buddy Hield, because if LeBron has to load manage, has to take some games off, their chances of winning is much higher with Russ on the floor.
Yeah.
I was about to say on the pitch. You already know, like, this football talk is, yeah, their chances are much higher with Russ than with Buddy Hield.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be an interesting experiment, that one as well. So I can't wait for that one as well too.
Yeah, that's good, man. The Suns, I mean, these guys probably have an outside chance. Obviously, last season was like their shot as well at trying to win this, and obviously they came up short in the finals. Obviously, everybody wants Chris Paul to get that ring because he's been grafting for this thing from the beginning of his career. Devin Booker was moving mad last season, bro. Like, he was on another level. I don't know if he was channeling in the spirit of Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. But, bro, he was doing absolute madness on the court every night he played. Do you think the Suns have a shot at this title at any point? Do you think they will have a shot?
Nah, just like the Bucks.
Nah.
I don't think so. Maybe like we're gonna have to see maybe like a couple years, but this season, no. Like I said, I'm speaking health wise. They only beat the Lakers because the Lakers were hobbled up, and I don't think the Lakers coaching was the best either.
Yeah,
because I feel like the Lakers were trying to play too much defense against them when you really needed that's a series you needed offense. Because when you look at the Lakers series, like, it was almost embarrassing. They only scored 10 points in a quarter.
Bro, you're seeing people like Dennis Schroeder, and like, he's gone to the Celtics, so I don't know how that's.
He dropped a donut on in a playoff game when he wants a contract.
Bro,
he's if fumbling the bag was a person.
Nah.
And I feel bad saying this because, like, he's a man, and he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want him to get his money, but when you talk about fumbling the bag,
bro, I don't know what he was thinking, but I don't know who advised him to do that. But boy,
honestly, like, you gotta, like, some part of it you gotta respect it because he bet on himself, but he still fumbled the bag. He went from potentially signing the $84 million contract and obviously not going to the Celtics, signing for like $6 million or less than that. Yeah, but honestly, I didn't even think he was going to be a good fit with LeBron either, because he was more of a kind of scoring point guard, and like he wasn't really gonna give AD like the touches he needed.
Mm,
You know, I don't think he was gonna mesh with LeBron well.
mm.
But honestly, you know, the Lakers, they dodged the bullet with that one. You know, because if he signed that contract, who knows if they would have been able to, you know, get
To,
the team that they
to
have
get
now.
to get the team. That's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. It's also, you know, like we'll speak about Alex Caruso a little bit as well, because obviously he left the Lakers,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously his output, like what he brings to the team, is very good. But also, like, he was ready to sign a deal with the Lakers, but they just said, you know what, we're trying to change, we're trying to go in a different direction, and so they was able to bring in the players they was able to bring in. But we're gonna move on to your favorite player, a LeBron guy. You know what I mean? Um, there's been a lot of talk. You know, this is year 19 for LeBron. You know, certain men are thinking he's washed, finished after last season. He received no votes in an NBA survey. It was like a
Best
collection of,
player in the world.
yeah, coaches and other players and stuff like that did a survey, and
Yeah.
yeah, and they didn't pick him at all. No one picked him. Um, and obviously, as I mentioned, went out in the first round of the playoffs, first time in his career last season. What do you think is going to happen with LeBron James this season? Do you think he's going to come back all smoke, ready for everybody, or is it going to be the same as last season, injuries, and then we don't see him?
All right. So the injuries part, we can't control that. So whatever happens with that happens. But
Mm,
the last time they said he was finished, last time they said he was washed,
mm,
he won a championship.
mm,
So hopefully he does the same. I'm not ready to say he's not the best player in the world yet.
mm,
I still believe, I still truly believe he's the best player in the world. KD was like, man, the way KD played in that playoffs series against the Bucks,
mm,
like I've never seen like anything like it. Not even like it was one of the best performances I've ever seen, not only in basketball but just in sports.
mm,
You know, you talk about like in football, we've seen like how many times we've seen Messi and Ronaldo
mm.
play like, you know, lights out, you know, just
Yep,
carry their team.
yep,
He did that and he did more and more and more. He did everything he could.
mm,
But I'm still giving the edge to LeBron. I'm not ready to like let the crown slip off his head yet. You
mm,
know, I think this year we're gonna see how I think it's unfair to like say, you know, he's this, he's that. I mean, he was injured, don't get me wrong.
mm,
But I think we're gonna have to see this season. I think this is a big season. Not necessarily for him because he has nothing left to prove.
mm,
You know, he's already the GOAT in my eyes, and to
mm.
a lot of people's eyes. But I think if for the people right now, you know, who think whatever they think of him, I think it's gonna be a big season for that.
Mm. I mean, I gotta agree with you, bro. This is one of them, you know, them Michael Jordan. I took it personally moments. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's ready for this, man. I'm telling you, he's ready. He's got Russ in his corner, so you know Russ is going to be facilitating a lot for that team. And yeah, it's just about managing his minutes, man, because I feel like there was a bit of an over reliance on him last season for the Lakers, because for whatever reason, some of their supporting cast, like KCP, he wasn't shooting like how he was shooting in the bubble. You know, Schroeder was pretty much a useless person within their team um last season, I'm sorry to say. Kuzma as well wasn't shooting the way he was shooting like the year before. So I mean, like at times I was watching LeBron in that season, last season, and I was like, he's doing too much. He's playing way too many minutes for like the age profile he is right now. He's 36, bro. So you know what I mean? So
37 in a few months.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like he can't be doing like, you know, the kind of minutes in these games like that anymore. So it's down to Frank Vogel and the team to be like, let's manage his minutes. And now the team is stacked enough that they can let him sit down a
And that's
few.
what I said about the Sun series. And yeah, the Sun series,
Mm,
they needed offense to help them. They needed scorers. They didn't
mm,
need guys to play defense
mm.
because nobody on that Suns team is a lockdown defender.
Yeah,
You know, you can
yeah,
talk about Chris Paul. That's pretty much it.
yeah,
You know, so they needed offense. They need scorers around him. You
yeah.
know,
Because I
so
mean,
he doesn't have to carry the load every single night. So,
mm,
and obviously they got Russ. They got, you know, guys who can just plug in, play their role. They've got Melo, and
mm.
you know, I think we all knew eventually that Melo and LeBron were gonna play together
Play
at some
together.
point.
Yeah,
and that's finally happened this year. So even Melo said, "Listen, it's a championship or bust year." So
Yeah.
I like that. That's how they think, and that's how they're supposed to think.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing. Is like Melo. For me, I want to see Melo win the championship, man. Love Melo, bro. Like, I feel like there's so many players that haven't got rings that I just feel like they deserve them. And like, obviously, CP3 is one of them. Harden is one of them. Like, it's just so many possibilities. So many people. Russ as well. Because I mean, you see the slander that Russ gets, like
Yeah,
especially from what's his name, Stephen A. Smith. He really guns for Russ. Russ don't care, but
Stephen
at
A.
the same,
Smith, he just blabbers about everybody though. So it's nothing serious.
yeah. So I mean, we'll see how LeBron does in the season. I hope that with the team that they've got now, that they can they can give him some management over his minutes and allow some other members of the team to kind of carry them through. Now let's move on to the free agency trade roundup. So obviously we'll start off with the Lakers. Russell Westbrook came in and they traded with the Wizards. KCP out, Montrezl Harrell out, and Kuzma out.
They all
What do you
moved
think
up
about?
the road. They all moved up the road here to
Yeah,
Wizards.
so let's talk about it from the Wizards perspective because we've been talking a lot of Lakers. So those three players moving over to the Wizards, what do you think about that?
Nothing really, honestly. Honestly, nothing because obviously they signed. They got depth in their team.
Mm,
Now, out of all those guys, I don't know what the Wizards lineup is going to be
mm.
because they signed Spencer Dinwiddie in
Win-
free agency.
Yep.
They still have Bradley Beal for his last year. I believe this is Bradley Beal's last year.
Yeah, it is.
What else do they have? Yes, honestly, I don't think Wizards are going to make much noise.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if they made. I was surprised they made the playoffs last year. They sneaked in. Russ was just being Russ,
yeah.
and dragged them through that line. We'll see how they do this year, and we'll see if Bradley Beal still wants to be here.
He's gonna
Because
trade mid-season, bro. I guarantee it. He's gonna do it. The reason why
I
is I just think so. Because it's like I feel like he had his opportunity to do so, but he's decided to stay in Washington for what I mean, I don't know the reasons why. I feel like
he just loves it here, honestly,
yeah.
and he's a competitor.
Mm,
And are we gonna be able to convince him to stay
mm,
for Stein's extension? I don't know because he wants to win now, and all I'm gonna say is his wife is from LA. His wife's
mm.
family's from LA. So next year, if he's a
He
free
might,
agent,
he might go to the Clippers though. Like that might be I don't know if he'll go to the Lakers. He could go to the Clippers, bro, because you got him, Kawhi, PG. Like even it, like, because even in the playoffs they were moving a bit mad. I never ever seen Reggie Jackson, yeah, play like that, bro. He
but
was
I
shooting,
think that's what the Lakers wanted Schroeder to do. In the
yeah,
playoffs.
exactly.
Yeah, but honestly, like, and the crazy thing is, I like Schroeder as a player. I just didn't think him and LeBron got along together.
Mm,
Like, not off the court, but just on the court. Honestly,
yeah, yeah,
I just didn't think their games matched.
mm, yeah. And obviously, in terms of the Lakers, they brought in Melo, DeAndre Jordan, from Brooklyn. Rondo came back, which is surprising because obviously he went via the Clippers to the not to the Mavs, to the Grizzlies, and then he bought himself out the contract to go to the Lakers. Um,
Yeah, I think the Clippers, once they saw how I think with the Clippers, like, we saw how he was trying to hold Kawhi Leonard accountable after Kawhi Leonard
missed
airballed
that
that
shot.
that three,
Yeah,
and we never seen him play since then. He was on
yeah,
the DMP list, so I think there was something wrong with that, and he just said, "You know what? I'm just gonna go back to the people who really want to work because the Clippers are." I was making a joke about them last year. I was saying they're Kawhi and Inshallah, but
yes, it's true.
yeah, but when we saw how he went down and they were still able to beat the Jazz
Mm,
and take the Suns to 6 games. Pandemic P, Paul George. We could take the pandemic off his name.
We can take it. Yeah, you can take it off now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he balled out, but I think it showed that he was a great number two.
yeah.
He couldn't take them over the line. So,
Mm.
yeah, Kawhi would have been a good thing, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited for Rondo coming back because like he is him and LeBron in the same team. That's too much IQ right there,
Yeah.
like too much. And like I don't think if they get it right, and like I said, with health and everything goes well, no one can beat them in a 7 game series,
Mm.
except for maybe the Nets. But we're not gonna put that out there yet.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, in the Clippers, moving on to them anyway. They brought in Eric Bledsoe, and Pat Bev went out. And he's gone to the Grizzlies, I believe it is. Yeah,
I think they traded him to Minnesota.
to Minnesota. Yeah, actually, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Is it the Timberwolves? I think it was.
I think he was traded to the Grizzlies first, and then the Grizzlies traded him to Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah,
Might
yeah,
be
yeah,
Minnesota. Yeah, I think that's where
yeah. It is.
he just eventually landed.
Yeah. Um, that was a surprising move, bro. Like, obviously, we didn't expect him. Like, obviously, he's been the Clippers for some time, and it's like, he's one of them kind of people where, he's probably one of the most hated to play against in the NBA. Trash talker, very tough competitor. But I'm surprised at that move, man. Like, what do you think about it, man? Like, was his time up at the Clippers or?
Um, yeah, I was surprised by it too, because obviously he was a big part of their locker room. But at the same time, I think the Clippers they're trying to get as much as talent as they need to
Mm.
win. So, we saw what he did against, you know, my favorite player other than LeBron, Luca. Luca was trying exposing him for his, putting him in the pick and roll every single time, and then it got to the point where he was not even in the rotation anymore. He didn't even play
Yeah,
the rest of the series.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Uh,
I think maybe the Clippers took that into consideration.
yeah.
So yeah, like I was surprised by it, but we're gonna see what he does to Minnesota. Hopefully like his tough mentality can
Mm,
drag that team out because they're in a
mm,
very bad place now. Even though
mm,
they have some good players, but they
yeah,
just it hasn't been able to work for them.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because obviously Trevor Mann has come through for the Clippers.
Yeah,
Doing some,
Terrence Mann, yeah, for sure.
he's been doing some good stuff. And then obviously Reggie Jackson was balling out in the playoffs, bro. Like I'd never seen that from him before. But yeah, I think it was. I feel like it. Yeah, you're right. It was his time to kind of move on and out. I feel like him getting exposed by Luca definitely opened the door for him to get out basically. We move on. The Bulls had a good off season, bringing in Lonzo Ball or free agency slash trade, DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso, and obviously linking up with Zach LaVine. Like it's looking like a little bit of a team again. Like what we saying on the Bulls, bro? I mean, it's not quite the '90s vintage, but hey, this is something new, man. Like they looking a bit like beefed up now in terms of the team. That starting five is gonna look healthy, bro.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. I think what the Bulls fans want, and this is just what I think. I think they want to do something like Atlanta,
Yeah,
be able to make a run.
yeah,
You know, now they have some good players. DeMar DeRozan, certified All Star.
mm,
I mean, he hasn't been an All Star for a while now, but
mm,
really good player. Lonzo,
mm.
high IQ basketball player, very good. And obviously the goat Caruso. That was sad to see him leave.
Yeah,
Honestly, like I loved him being part of the Lakers. I'm sure LeBron loves him being part of the Lakers too.
yeah,
Lakers fans loved him.
mm,
Just him. What he brought to the Lakers was just something different.
mm.
Um, yeah, no, but the Bulls are looking good though. And Zach LaVine, I think this is their way of saying like telling him like, look, we're serious
Yeah,
about it because he's a free agent next year. So
yeah,
I think this is their way of telling him like, listen, like we're trying to like build a team to
mm,
be able to compete to win. Um, Obviously you can say everyone is gonna fall short to the Nets, but I think like if they're able to do what an Atlanta did, get to the Eastern Conference Finals,
Mm.
which is possible because other than the Bucks, you can say they can beat anybody with that team.
Yeah,
We're just gonna have to see how they mesh.
yeah, yeah. You're right on that. Let's move on to Miami. Kai
Mhm.
Lowry moving from the Raptors over there. What are you saying
Mhm.
on that, bro? Like they looks like they're completing their little big three. They got Kai Lowry,
Jimmy
Bam
Butler,
Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler. That's
yeah.
their little big three.
I
What
believe
were you
PJ
saying?
Tucker went there too, right?
Yeah, PJ Tucker went there too. Yep. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. 'Cause the first thing I thought of when they signed Kyle Lowry was how is he gonna do in those Pat Riley body fat tests? Because you know how Pat Riley's just he's very strict about his players' body fats.
Yeah.
So I was wondering like how's all of that gonna go down? But take all of that away. Now Kyle Lowry, he's a champion. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for a very long time, a very experienced player.
Mm,
He has a lot to offer that team.
mm,
They did need a point guard, but I think what he's gonna do is like he will hold like the other players accountable. He can hold Jimmy Butler accountable.
mm,
He can hold Bam accountable, and like he can like put pressure on himself as well because he can he can facilitate. He can knock down a shot too. I was
mm,
hoping the Lakers would have somehow be able to get him, but
mm,
obviously that didn't work out. But
mm,
nah, he's a very good ad for them. I'm
mm.
impressed with that ad.
Yeah, it should be good, man. Trying to form a little team again after because they got washed in the in the playoffs against the Bucks. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got washed, bro. So yeah, they need something to rejuvenate things and try and get the energy back up. But yeah, let's move on to the Knicks. Obviously, we mentioned them a little bit earlier in the show. Um, the Celtics, Kemba Walker. Yeah, like that shocked me. So obviously he was traded to OKC and
Yeah.
then bought the contract out so he can go back home, back in New York. Right? He was born in the Bronx. Um, it shocked me, bro. Like I swear, when I saw it on Twitter, I was like, "No way has this happened?" Because like everybody was saying he was washed. We all thought he was washed, and we went. He was like, "All right, you're going to OKC. They got a young team. You can go there and try and rejuvenate your career." And he was like, "Nah, I'm not. I'm going home." When I saw that he was at the Knicks, I was like, "Oh my days, what have we done here? Have
Yeah.
we
It's
have we
crazy.
just handed him over?" What are you saying?
It's crazy because uh Brad Stevens was the coach
Yep,
and he became the GM.
yep.
And his first move as a GM was trading Kemba
Kemba.
Walker.
Yeah,
Like literally, like he coached this guy, and then his first move, like traded him the next day after being his coach. So it was hilarious, honestly.
mm,
When I first saw it, and I was just like, I didn't understand why. But then you honestly, you look deep down, and you realize like, okay, it didn't work out with him there,
mm.
and then obviously buys out his contract because no one wants to stay in OKC. They're just
Yeah,
too much of a young team with too much draft picks.
yeah,
They're not really going to make any noise, and they were able to, you know, buy him out, save them
yeah.
money, save himself some money to go out and play for the Knicks. So,
Mm,
we talked about them earlier. It's going to be an experiment that we're going to have to wait and see.
mm.
Have a lot of the young players who
Yep.
made some noise last year. So when you
Yeah.
bring in like two guys that's been in the league for a little bit longer, it's going to be interesting.
Mm. Yeah. So speaking on Evan Fournier there, man, I was also surprised that he left the Celtics in such because he literally was there for about a few months because obviously he traded mid-season and then
Mhm.
they went out in the first round to the Nets and then straight away he was like I'm out of here and he said I'm going to New York and I feel like for him yeah space opened up for Evan Fournier but I think he just wanted to live in New York to be honest with you. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie to you. I that's how I felt like Boston wasn't for him. He just didn't want to stay there and he decided, you know what, I might as well just take the opportunity. The space is there. Um
yeah. So we'll see how they play together.
yeah. Let's move on. Ben Simmons. didn't turn up to training camp first day. Um, he's looking to leave. He basically said it. I don't want to play for the 76ers anymore. So what's gonna happen with him? Like, where do you see him going? Like, is he gonna make a U-turn and and then come back and play? Like, what's going on here?
Man, this Ben Simmons thing, everyone's been wondering the same thing. You just don't know, honestly, because and everyone was trying to find out who's in the wrong here. Is it Ben? Is it the 76ers?
Yeah.
Honestly, I see blaming both.
Mm.
Obviously Ben Simmons, like he didn't turn up in the playoffs.
No, he did.
No,
No, he
he's
definitely did not.
like one of my friends, shout out Zeke. He tweeted something saying Ben Simmons is the first, or he might have told me this personally, but he said Ben Simmons is the first ever basketball player to be afraid to shoot the basketball.
But he was scared. I
Yeah,
don't get
he
it.
was even he actually tweeted something funny. He was like, Ben Simmons carries his notebooks and textbooks because he has no bag. That was so true. Like you saw him in the playoffs, he literally like you can tell that was a scared man right there. Like
Yeah.
afraid to look at the basket. He wouldn't even
Mm.
want like everyone's gonna talk about the layup that he missed or
Mm.
like the dunk that he missed in front of Trey Young and the one that
Yeah.
he passed up. Well, he didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
miss it, but the one he passed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I and honestly I put part of that blame also on Philly because I think honestly, like the coaching staff, the organization, they
Mm.
tried to do so much just to like make him feel comfortable, kind
Mm.
of like almost like baby him.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to like push him and, put him in the right position to succeed. So
Mm.
obviously you got to be held accountable for like what you did, but
Mm.
also, you got to look at the organization and how they handled him. And
Mm.
they didn't handle him pretty well.
I don't even know where he goes from here, to be honest with you, because it's like
Who's going to trade for him?
that's what I'm saying. I just don't know who's gonna trade for him. Like, and to be honest with you, like where he is right now is probably the best fit. It's just he needs to just get back focused. Like because like we seeing what's going on with his love life and all of this. Like man's got himself a new wifey and all of this. I'm just like, bro, get focused. You're locked in, bro. Because like you were very close, yeah, to becoming Eastern Conference Finals, like a finalist, and then maybe champions. You just never know, but you just missed it at the final hurdle, and it's because you just weren't being brave, like you weren't risking more. Do you know what I mean? So I mean,
Yeah.
I hope that he can resolve it as quickly as possible because he doesn't want to be like out here in limbo, not knowing what his next move is. Like, just make a
Yeah,
decision.
but
Either.
he's holding out his choice.
Mm.
Like we've seen last year with James Harden. James Harden held out for a little bit, but then he came back to Houston
Mm.
and he dropped 44 points in his first game.
Yeah,
And people saw, okay, when Harden is serious, he is a great player.
yeah,
And we all knew that,
mm.
but he came to training camp. He came to do what he did, and the Nets were able to make that move for him. But at this point, he's not even coming to play. So it's
Yeah,
like whoever's trading for him at the back of their head, they're thinking, well, he might do this to us if
yeah,
we make him mad,
yeah,
So him not going to training camp obviously is not helping the team. But at the end of the day, you know, you you get where he's at. He wants just a
mm.
new scene, a new change in his life.
Mm.
But it's crazy because he signed that big contract last
Mm.
year or the year before that. So
Mm.
and now like he's not. It looks like he's not going to get any money from it. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think that's going to be the most interesting thing to see how that turns off. Maybe mid season if like Bradley Beal or
Mm.
Damian Lillard seem
Yeah.
unhappy and they want to get trades, maybe they trade him then. But as of
Mm.
right now, you don't see anybody making a trade for him at all.
Mm. Um, you mentioned Damian Lillard. Let's talk about Dame right now. He's openly stated several times that he's not leaving Portland. Um, he was gonna stay there to try and win a ring. That's what he says. He's not trying to run from the grind. Obviously, Portland aren't going to be anywhere near a championship this season. So,
Yeah.
what do you think he's doing? Like, is he waiting for the best opportunity, Or is it just like, he's just saying things to kind of play up to the fans because he doesn't want anybody to turn on him or accuse him of trying to jump into a super team and all of this?
I mean, Dame has plenty of times said that he doesn't want to join a super team.
Mm.
He said that's not his style. But we've seen players say stuff and do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So, will he change his mind? I don't know. Obviously, I do believe he really likes Portland. He wants to win there, and he respects the fans a lot. He's a supermax player. Signed that supermax extension a couple seasons ago.
Mm.
So I don't know. We're gonna have to see how they start up the season. That's one of the things where it's one of the stories where you're gonna want to see it when the season starts, as the season progresses.
Yeah.
If Portland can, if they're winning and they get to a high seed and maybe get a favorable matchup in the playoffs, maybe he would want to stay there and, say, okay, and it depends on front office if they make the right moves.
Mm.
If they end up losing and end up tanking, who knows? They might make that trade for him, and who wouldn't want Damian Lillard on their team?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's proven himself to be one of the best players in the league. Even in these past couple of seasons, he's serious, and obviously we can always dream about him coming to the Lakers, like how we were doing in the beginning of the season. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Dame. I love Dame. Love his game so much.
Me too, man. Dame's clutch, man. Just way too clutch, bro. He be shooting those 18-footers like it's nothing. And then it's just it's back to the business, man. He'll be dropping 50 on people like it's nothing at all. But let's see what happens with him, man, across the season. All right, man. To round it up, I'm gonna fire a few questions at you just in regards to end of season awards.
Yeah.
So let's see. Who do you think is gonna be MVP this year?
Ooh. Now, MVP is a tough thing because you're gonna have to get a high seed.
Yeah.
So obviously it's probably not gonna happen. But if Dallas can get a high seed, I want to see Luka win MVP. But I think something inside of me this says is gonna be Kevin Durant this year.
Okay. Who do you think is gonna be Defensive Player of the Year?
AD.
Okay. Rookie of the Year. A few good guys in there, bro. Because Cade Cunningham is the top pick.
Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green.
Jalen Green.
I'll probably say Jalen Green.
Jalen Green, yeah. All right. You think he's gonna be Sixth Man of the Year?
Sixth Man of the Year. Oh, Sixth Man of the Year. I can see it going to Jordan Clarkson again.
Yeah. That's a shout. And then lastly, the surprise package. So it could be a team or a player, somebody that's going to surprise you, a team or a player.
Dallas.
Hopefully. All right.
Hopefully.
All right. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up right here. I want to thank Mido for jumping on the stream with me. You'll see him on the channel a few more times across the NBA season and football season as well, as we do in all those different types of streams. But yeah, thank you, my guy, for coming on. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bro. You can follow me at Mido Tings. You can put it in the description if you want. Yeah, but my name is Mido. I go by Mido Tings on Instagram, Twitter, everything.
Cool. Let me get into these last few comments from Santi before we jump out. He says, Davion Mitchell, Rookie of the Year.
That's a good shout too, yeah.
You heard it here first. All right. But yeah, man, this has been Pros Only TV NBA season preview. I want to thank everybody that's been in the comments. Your comments always make the show. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and all of that stuff. Don't forget to follow the socials. They're coming up next. But we are out. Peace.